I honestly was someone that was rooting for Microsoft and their Xbox platforms for next generation after everything that Sony has put console players through. Sony has decided what you can and cannot see as a consumer. I, as an adult, can obviously make decisions for myself, and most of us can, and they really wanted to take away those choices. They wanted to have less sexualized games, and they've even had some questionable violent censorship recently. And Phil Spencer has decided to just come out and say it. Xbox is not a platform for free speech and wants to restrict what people can and cannot do when they interact with each other on the platform. I had talked a few weeks ago about Phil Spencer saying that Microsoft was starting a new diversity and inclusivity initiative to help combat bigotry, misogyny, and what they wanted to call hate speech that exists in the gaming atmosphere. And when he discussed this, they were in the process of changing guidelines and changing the Xbox community standards, and now they have not implemented anything new at this point in time, but apparently they've got a list of ideas and a list that just keeps on growing because they are still talking about how they have not decided the changes that they want to make to their platform yet. Now, he recently did an interview with Stephen Totilo from Kotaku, and this was the main piece of it that I wanted to discuss, because this is where all of my questions are raised. Xbox Live is not a free speech platform. It is not a place where anybody can come and say anything. As we are working to ensure it is a safe and inclusive environment for everybody, I do not want to be opaque about it. I want you to be out there front and center so that you can understand our motivation. I think that the anonymity of the internet and the ability to comment to anybody is a really difficult place to unlock. One of the things that we find in gaming that is actually really helpful to us is that because your Xbox Live account has friends and identity and state, there seems to be, and it's good, that's questionable, there seems to be a lot more care that a player takes in their identity and its reputation. Does Phil Spencer really know what Xbox Live is? Really and truly? It is a platform where you can interact to anyone by saying anything. I understand that they have guidelines and rules that they do want to maybe enforce more than they were, but it used to be so loosely enforced. I mean, look back at the Xbox 360, the boom of multiplayer games and online interactions between people. What has changed from then to now? I really do not see anything that has hugely changed. I honestly do not see as much toxicity now as I did back then. I was an avid player of the Xbox 360 days, so I definitely have seen some toxicity, but I feel like now there's less toxicity. People like to talk big on the internet. People like to talk big when they are anonymous. Like in a multiplayer game with strangers, younger or older, they are bound to say something to try to get their opponents riled up and bent out of shape, so maybe they misplay. Maybe you can get a few kills or a few points on them, or even make them leave the game because they are so ticked off. It is the internet that we are talking about, and when people are anonymous and you do not actually know who they are, most people act different than they do in their day-to-day lives. It is an escape for people. People do not have to act like they just got home from their 9-to-5 job, that they have 3 kids. They can just relax and have fun, and yes, maybe that is a little bit of shit-talking, but to most people, that is what you do in things like multiplayer lobbies in video games. It is just a form of relaxing, whether you talk to people or you do not. If you do not, you can even mute it so you do not have to deal with the people that might be bothersome to your gameplay experience. And he says one of the things that we find in gaming that's actually really helpful to us is that because your Xbox Live account has friends and identity and state, there seems to be a lot more care that a player takes in their identity and its reputation. And of course people are going to care, because pieces of their personal information are wide for everyone to see on the platform, and to me, I hate that. I hate when my personal information is required to be on the front of a profile or it's on a platform as public knowledge. Because to some people on the internet, some information is no information. And yes, there are people out there that do push things a little too far when it comes to smack talk in competitive games. And it's just another piece of information and ammunition for them to throw at you. Microsoft cannot even give a definition of what hate speech is or what they consider to be hate speech, and they've based a policy around fighting back at it, even though they cannot tell you what it is. They can consider anything to be hate speech just because one person gets offended by it, or if someone misinterprets it. It is the internet. If someone says something that bothers you, you can just mute and block them, and you never have to hear about them or hear from them ever again. And that is the great part about it. People need to learn to use those features that already exist, because once you block that person that is bothering you, your experience is much more enjoyable. I personally believe that it is healthier for people to have profiles that are allowed to stay as anonymous as they want. You do not have to add any information you do not feel comfortable with adding. I really dislike adding my information to profiles. Most people still just will add in fake information or change it to something that is false because they do not like dealing with that. How is that good, and how is that healthy for your platform and for people in general? In the end, I am going to say it, this is a paid service we are talking about. I would not pay $60 a year to be told what I can and cannot say online. Companies like Microsoft and Sony are treating adults like they are children. What is going to happen when those adults leave your platform because you catered towards children? Children that do not have any money to purchase new consoles or games. Children that will not inevitably boost your sales. Do you really want a platform based off of family-friendly gaming? Because Nintendo did, and look at what they are doing now. Monitoring content less because they know adults are the ones who purchase games and subscription services and are the ones that are going to inevitably give them sales. Either way, please let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What are your thoughts on Phil Spencer and all of this effort they are putting towards combating hate speech and combating it being a free speech platform? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you did enjoy this video, please make sure to give it a like, and of course if you did not, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either which way, but I do hope that you enjoyed, and I will talk to you guys again in the next video really soon.